and welcome to this short YouTube video where I'm going to be looking at a snapshot of the pre-scene for the May 2019 exam for the strategic case study. And just as a caveat before we start this video, I am going to be talking about the pre-scene as if you have already gone through it yourself. So I'm not talking as if you've not got any idea about anything that is in the pre-scene. So in this video, we're going to look at one of the articles. There's quite a few articles this time. Usually in the pre-scene, there's only a couple of articles, maybe a couple of pages, but there's quite a substantial section of articles this time. And whilst the articles themselves may not contain a wealth of information, there's not going to be huge amounts to discuss in every single paragraph, in every single article with relation to the business. What they are very good at, though, is giving you, as the student, an indicator of where the examiner is heading, the kinds of things, the kinds of questions, the kinds of subjects that the examiner is going to talk about in the actual exam. So what we would expect to see throughout these articles is perhaps a few ideas for new services that DENB could produce, could enter, and also different risks. And we'll start with the first article here, which is on Dr. Brenda's medical column, and it's all about a healthy attitude. And she discusses here that actually referring a lot of patients to suitable advisors rather than medicines has actually yielded quite a few benefits to the patients that she has. And many of her fellow GPs agree with her. And there's now a wide range of professional advisors ranging from dietitians to life coaches. And so essentially the main crux of this article here is all about therapy and how, rather than just treating things with surgery, rather than treating things with pharmaceutical drugs, actually a lot can be solved through mental health therapy, which is a big contemporary issue. All the time we hear about mental health and how people aren't being coached effectively enough, people aren't getting the treatment for their mental health. In fact, recently, only a couple of weeks ago, there was a contestant from a couple of seasons ago of Love Island who was suffering from mental health and appeared to not be suffering from it, and perhaps through societal pressures and the stigma around mental health didn't seek treatment and eventually committed suicide. And again, it highlighted just how important it is. It's one of the leading causes in the UK amongst young men is suicide, and a lot of it is down to poor mental health, and yet people cannot receive the treatment. So it's a huge contemporary issue, and perhaps something that DENB really needs to focus on getting into. We know that the organisation expands by acquiring smaller hospitals and smaller practices, and so there will be undoubtedly several smaller businesses specialising in therapy. Perhaps we could absorb those into the DENB group, and then we would be able to deal with these kinds of issues. And these are the kinds of things that generally are not as readily available on the health service as they are in private care. So it's a really good way of getting additional business from self-pay clients. And the next 3 paragraphs of this article talk about various times where therapy has helped overcome people or issues or the need for it. So for example, we've got someone who's suffering from chronic fatigue and how that's helping or hindering their progress at work, why they are unhappy because it's not challenging enough. But by going and seeing a life coach, going and seeing a therapist, they were able to turn their life around. Then we have another one here where we are looking at someone who is dealing with anger management issues, and by going and seeing a therapist, they were able to find the root cause of those outbursts and control their temper. So it wasn't needing drugs, it wasn't needing anything like that. It was just solved by dealing with it, by getting to the root of the problem. It's very non-invasive because it's not requiring to take medication, it's not requiring any kind of surgery or anything like that. And the final paragraph is also very important here, because the final paragraph shows how it links back into the current business model and the current way in which medicine is practiced in Keeland. Because you shouldn't just go and see a therapist, you should always consult your doctor first. So again, just as with any other treatment, it's going back and seeing the GP first. And the GP then may suggest you go and see a therapist. The reason for this is because if you do not see someone who is trained, someone who is qualified, it could be dangerous or at the very least unhelpful, and often they'll seek a referral to a therapist and discover there is an underlying medical problem. So if therapy doesn't solve that, then the doctor perhaps will know that there is a medical issue that needs to be taken care of. Of course, we know that as long as we provide quality care, that GPs may suggest sending patients to Denby Healthcare. So if this kind of treatment, anger management, health, therapist, etc. is not available on the KHS, it could be a real opportunity to expand our operations, so that then GPs will suggest, well, it's looked at on the KHS, but for X pay dollars per hour, you can go and see a specialist Denby practitioner who will deal with this issue, who will get to the root of your problem and make you feel better. So, in a sense, what we're looking at here is some potential expansion opportunities, be they through setting up our own way of dealing with mental health issues or by acquiring a private therapy clinic, as I've suggested. And it works because it ties in with the existing way in which medicine is practiced, referrals from the GP, etc. It's a big contemporary issue, and there's lots of evidence to suggest that it can be just as beneficial as standard forms of medical treatment. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this small video, and more importantly, you have found it useful in the preparation for your exam. If you are interested in learning more about the services and the products that we provide here at Astrantia Financial Training, please visit our website, and also please like the video and subscribe to be updated on more videos that are going to be released over the next few weeks.